والمرسلين وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. Alhamdulillah, we have sat here today to remember one of the greatest awliya of Islamic history, one of the descendant of Prophet Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, the founder of Qadiriyya, Sufi order, Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani rahmatullahi alayhi. Inshallah, we'll have a couple of talks, inshallah, and also we'll recite Khatm Hajjagan as a Risala Sawab for Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani rahmatullahi alayhi. I'd like to request everyone to stay with us, inshallah, until the talk is finished and the dua is done, inshallah. Now I'd like to request one of our alim, Hazrat Maulana Abdul Qadir, to recite a few verses from the Holy Quran. Maulana Abdul Qadir.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير
Sayyid Ali Jafar to come and recite an Ashir for us.
Allah.
Please join me with the chorus, inshallah. La ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah, Muhammad Rasulullah, la ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah, Muhammad Rasulullah. Salamun ala qabrin yuzaru minal buthi, salamun ala rawda wa fiha Muhammadin, la ilaha illallah, illallah, la ilaha illallah, Muhammad Rasulullah. Salamun ala man zara fil layli rabbahu, faballaghahu al-marhuba fi kulli maqsadi, la ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah, Muhammad Rasulullah. Salamun ala man qala liddabi man ana, faqala Rasulullahi anta Muhammadin, la ilaha illallah, illallah, la ilaha illallah, Muhammad Rasulullah. Salamun ala al-madfuni fi ardi taibatan, wa man hasahu ar-rahmanu bil fadli wal majdi, la ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah, Muhammad Rasulullah. Nabiyyun habahullahu bil husni wal baha, fatuba li abdin zara qabra Muhammadin, la ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah, Muhammad Rasulullah. Aya rakiban nahwal madinati qasidan, faballigh salami lil habibi Muhammadin, la ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah, Muhammad Rasulullah. Birawdatihil husna munaya wa bughyati, wa fiha shifa qalbi wa ruhi wa rahati, la ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah, Muhammad Rasulullah. Fa in ba'udat anni wa azza mazaruha, fatimsaluha ladayya ahsanu suratin, la ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah, Muhammad Rasulullah. Wa salli ala kutubil
like to call upon one of our teacher of our Maktablas, Qari Muhibbul Hasan Talha, to come forward and say a few words from the life of Sayyid Abdul Qadir Jilani Rahmatullah alayhi. Muhibbul Hasan Talha.
ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور انفسنا ومن سيئات اعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له ونشهد ان لا اله الا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد ان سيدنا ونبينا ومولانا محمدا عبده ورسوله اما بعد فاعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ألا إن أولياء الله لا خوف عليهم ولا هم يحزنون. Sadaqallahu al-Azim. Everyone join me in sending salutations upon our beloved teacher, Master Sayyidina Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Sallallahu ala Sayyidina wa Mawlana Muhammad wa ala alihi wa ashabihi wa sallam. Sallallahu ala Sayyidina wa Mawlana Muhammad wa ala alihi wa ashabihi wa sallam. My dear brothers and sisters, today our talk is about one of the greatest wali Allah, Ghawsul Azam, Shaykh Sayyid Abdul Qadir Jilani Rahmatullahi alayhi. Although there are a multitude of incidents and stories which depict why he was given the title Guru Pir, I'm sure you'll hear many of them from the honourable guests here today. However, I would like to focus on one incident from Guru Pir Abdul Qadir Jilani Rahmatullahi's early life. When Abdul Qadir Jilani Rahmatullahi alayhi was in his early age, his mother was very old and she needed someone to look after her. But she only wanted the pleasure of Almighty Allah, so she did not let her personal feelings come before the pleasure of Allah. She wanted her son to be a man of knowledge and wisdom. She wanted to send him to Baghdad in Iraq for higher education. In those days, people used to travel either by foot or by camel or another animal. The roads were through forests and jungles, and there was always the danger of travelers being robbed and killed by bandits. Sayyid Abdul Qadir Jilani's mother found a caravan of merchants that were traveling to Baghdad, so she let her son travel with them. She took 40 gold coins and sold them under the arm of his coat. She made dua for him and gave him the following advice: "O my beloved son, always speak the truth. Do not even think of lies." The young Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani said, "My dear mother, I promise from my heart that I will always act upon your advice." The journey took them into a vast forest wherein 60 robbers attacked them. The travellers did not have the means to defend themselves against the robbers and were forced to surrender their belongings and valuables to them. None of the robbers approached Sayyid Abdul Qadir Jilani as he was just a young boy until one of them decided to approach him. He went up to Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani and asked him if he had any valuables. He replied that he had only 40 gold coins, and when he heard this, the robber laughed at the young Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani, thinking that he was lying. He took the young boy to the leader. After hearing this, the leader asked for the 40 coins, and Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani showed him where he had hidden him. When they tore open the coat of Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani, they found the 40 gold coins sewed under the armpits. When they saw this, the chief of the robbers and his followers were shocked. The leader asked, "O young man, none of us knew that you had any money. Knowing that we are robbers, why did you still tell us that you had the money hidden?" Young Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani replied by saying, "When I had left on this journey, I promised my elderly and pious mother that I would never lie. How then could I break this promise just for the sake of 60 robbers?" After saying these words, robber cried bitterly and then fell to the feet of Shaykh Abdul Qadir and repented for his sins. When his assistants saw this, they too did likewise and repented sincerely for all their sins. They then returned all their belongings of the travellers. It has been stated that the Tawbah, repentance of these robbers, was so sincere that they were blessed with being friends of Allah. I conclude with the dua that Allah accept our gathering to commemorate the life of the great wali, Shaykh Sayyid Abdul Qadir Jilani, and may Allah grant us the ability to become truthful in our life. Ameen. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
MashaAllah, Jazakallah. Jazakallah khair, to share a beautiful incident from the early age of Sayyid Abdul Qadir Jilani rahmatullah alayhi, and it shows the impact of telling the truth. Even you are in danger, even when your life is threatened, yet Sayyid Abdul Qadir Jilani rahmatullah alayhi kept his promise to his mother, and he did not lie, and he told the truth. And because of that impact of telling the truth, 60 robbers, they became truthful, they became awliya, they did tawbah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, hearing from a very young boy of truth that he kept the promise to his mother. How many of us are keeping our promises to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? How many of us are keeping the promise to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala took promise from us? Alastu bi rabbikum, am I not your Lord? We all said Bala. We all said, of course, Ya Allah, you are our Lord. However, we are unable to keep that promise. When we are in our business, we are cheating, we are lying. In our everyday life, we are doing so many wicked things, bad things, that we forget that we gave a promise to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, will be truthful. We gave a promise to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, will be accepting Allah as our Lord, obeying Him, not to be disobedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us among the people, those who follow the footstep of Sayyidina Abdul Qadir Jilani rahmatullah alayhi, the footstep of our master Sayyidina Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Without further ado, I'd like to call upon one of our former students, the head teacher of the Victoria Park Masjid, our brother Hafiz Fahim Ahmed, to come forward and share a few words of wisdom, inshallah. Hafiz Fahim Ahmed.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الحمد لله وكفى، والصلاة والسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى، خصوصا على سيدنا ومولانا محمد المجتبى وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه، وبعد. قال الله عز وجل بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم: ألا إن أولياء الله لا خوف عليهم ولا هم يحزنون الذين آمنوا وكانوا يتقون لهم البشرى في الحياة الدنيا وفي الآخرة لا تبديل لكلمات الله ذلك هو الفوز العظيم. وقال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم عن أبي هريرة أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قال: يقول الله تبارك وتعالى: من عاد لي وليا فقد آذنته بالحرب. صدق الله العظيم وصدق رسوله النبي الكريم. Before I begin, I would like to thank our Qari Sahib and our Imam Sahib for opening the evening, and I would like to remind us all, can we all please smile? We are in the Masjid of Allah. You are in the gathering which those angels will be taking to Allah. Allah will boast of these gatherings. Why you sat here with so many frowns in your face? Smile. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be boasting of you very shortly, inshallah. And with that, we have gathered here today to remember one of the greatest people to walk on this earth after the Anbiya, after the companions, Sultan al-Awliya, as they say, Sayyidina Muhyiddin Abdul Qadir al-Jilani al-Hanbali al-Hasani al-Husayni al-Jili rahimahullah ta'ala rahmatan wasi'ah. What I want to talk about today is what maqam did he achieve in his life? What station did he achieve? What did he do to achieve such a station that 1,000 years later we are all sat here today calling ourselves Qadiris, calling ourselves Sufis, following in his footsteps and remembering his name. Many of us today, if we pass away, within 100 years time, nobody will remember our first, never mind our second name. But 1,000 years later, we are remembering his name. 1,000 years later, we are calling him Sultan al-Awliya, Ghawth al-A'zam. What did he do in his life to achieve such a maqam? You see, many people, they are of this illusion that he was just a Sufi, a scholar of the inner sciences. But this is the biggest misconception about Sayyidina Abdul Qadir Jilani. You see, at the age of 18, the story that our Qari Sahib had mentioned, he was 18 years old when this took place, just a young lad. 18 years old, he's on his way to Baghdad. And at the age of 49, this is when he becomes known throughout the entire Baghdad. So the question arises, for these 30 odd years, What did he do during these 30 odd years? And that's where we will take our lesson from today. Abdul Qadir Jilani rahimahullah ta'ala, for these 30 odd years he went and he sought knowledge. He went and he sought knowledge, ilm. In fact, in his later stage of his life, he was asked, Ya Sayyiduna, what did you get from Allah? What did you earn from Allah? What did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give you? And think about there are many things he could say, so many karamat, so many miracles that we will hear about today. But he answers with two things only. He said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave me two things. And he says, al-ilm wal-adab. Knowledge and character and mannerisms and etiquette. Knowledge and etiquette. In fact, in the 40 years after that he taught, he did not have a single majlis of dhikr, not a single majlis of tasawwuf. Every single majlis that Sayyid Abdul Qadir Jilani had was a majlis of ilm, a majlis of talabul ilm. Every single majlis. In fact, we are gathered here to celebrate, to commemorate, to remember him. The best way we can do that is by going and taking on this legacy of becoming a talibul ilm. In fact, how many of us here came today with that intention? Many of us might have come today to intention of dhikr, intention of shukr, of salawat. But how many of us here came with the intention of becoming a talibul ilm? That I have come to seek knowledge. I want you to question yourself. If you do not do this, then you are not a Qadiri. Qadiri doesn't mean coming on Monday and doing dhikr and saying Allah, Allah. Qadiri means you go home, you seek knowledge, you go out, you seek knowledge, you come to the masjid and you seek knowledge. Abdul Qadir Jilani, first and foremost, was an alim, an allama, a arif, a zahid. He was a knowledgeable person. He was a teacher of the deen. He was learned in Arabic. In fact, I want to mention one of the miracles today, that at the age of 49, his teacher, his Shaykh Abu Sa'id al-Makhzumi, he invited him to come and become the teacher of his madrasa in Baghdad. Baghdad at the time, as Faisal mentioned, was the center of ilm. The center of ilm at the time, established by the Khalifa. So Abdul Qadir Jilani, he becomes the Shaykh, he becomes the mudarris, he becomes the orator, but he does not give a single speech, a sermon. He does not speak. And once in a dream, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he comes to him and he says, Ya Abdul Qadir Jilani, why do you not speak to the people? Why do you not give khutbah to the people? And he says, Ya Sayyidi Ya Rasulullah, I can't speak Arabic. He was an ajam. He did not know Arabic. He was an ajam. So in this dream, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he takes his blessed saliva. His blessed saliva, that saliva which gives cure. And he puts it in the mouth of Abdul Qadir Jilani 7 times. Sayyidina Abdul Qadir Jilani, he wakes up from this dream and he is fluent, he is fasih in the language of the Arabs. And the day after, it's time for the khutbah, for the sermon. He stands to give the sermon. What nerves overtake him, he is extremely nervous and he does not give the speech. He backs out. He goes home and another dream happens. Another dream occurs. In this dream, Babu Madinatil Ilm, Imam al-Awliya, the son-in-law of the Prophet and the cousin of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Sayyidina Ali ibn Abi Talib appears. Sayyidina Ali ibn Abi Talib asks him, "Oh my son, oh my grandson, what's the problem? Why do you not speak to the people?" He said, "I'm nervous. I have fear of people. I don't have the bravery, the shuja'a, I don't have this." And so Sayyidina Ali, he took his blessed saliva and he put it in the mouth of Sayyidina Abdul Qadir Jilani 6 times. In the mouth of Sayyidina Abdul Qadir Jilani. And he asked him, he goes, "Ya Sayyidina Ali, why did you put it 6 times?" He goes, "Out of adab of Rasulullah, he put it 7 times. He put it 7, so I will put it 6. And when he wakes up from this dream, he had immense bravery, immense power in his speech, and he begins speaking those speeches which throughout the 40 years that he spoke, the entire world came to know of Abdul Qadir Jilani, not just this world, the world beyond that. The entire universe, the angels, the jinnat, every single country in the world, if you go there, I guarantee you, whatever language they speak, they will be able to tell you about Al-Ghawth Al-A'zam, Sayyidina Abdul Qadir Jilani, rahmatullahi alayhi. So for 40 years he begins this journey, teaching the deen. In fact, one of his miracles was that so many people came to his madrasa, so many people came to his speech, but the person right at the front of him could hear just, the person right at the back, could hear just as well as the person right in front of him. These are one of the miracles of Sayyidina Abdul Qadir Jilani. And many, many miracles we will hear tonight, but another one I would like to mention is after he becomes famous throughout the Islamic world at the time, this random man, he comes to Baghdad. He comes to Baghdad saying, I've heard these amazing stories of this man who performs many karamat, many, many miracles. Let me go investigate. Let me go see what's happening. Let's go see the story. So he comes to the house of Abdul Qadir Jilani and he requests the Shaykh, he goes, can I stay with you for a few days? And the Shaykh, being the Ghawth, the one who helps the needy, he says, of course you can stay with me. And he stays with the Shaykh for many, many days and nothing major happens. In fact, after a while he takes ijazah to leave. He says, can I leave now? And as he's leaving, Abdul Qadir Jilani, he asks him, Ya Rajul, O man, did you find what you came for? Did you find what you came for? And he goes, Ya Abdul Qadir Jilani, I heard all these amazing stories, so many amazing karamat and miracles, but I have not seen anything myself. And so Abdul Qadir Jilani asks him, he goes, the time you have been with me, did you see me do anything outside of the sunnah of Rasulullah? Did you see me do anything that is khilaf for sunnah? And the man says, Wallahi, I did not see you do anything other than the sunnah. And he goes, is that not the greatest miracle in itself? Is that not the greatest miracle in itself? Another miracle I would like to mention is once on a dark night, very dark night, a thief, he comes to the house of Abdul Qadir Jilani. He climbs in through the window, the Shaykh is asleep. He climbs in through the window, it's pitch black darkness, and the moment he enters in the house, he loses his sight, he goes blind. He cannot see anything at all. And now he is fumbling around the house, stumbling, he cannot escape the house, he doesn't know where the exit is. So he sits in a quiet corner and he waits till daylight comes, he waits till the day. And at the time of Fajr, Sayyid Abdul Qadir Jilani, he wakes up and he comes to this person and he puts his hand over his eyes. And immediately his sight is restored. Immediately. Not only that, he says this man has come to steal. This man has come for materialistic gains, for worldly gains, gains which will come to an end. But inshallah, I will give him such barakah, such blessings that will last him an eternity. And this man left the house of Abdul Qadir Jilani, not as a thief, not as a sheikh, not as a wali, but as an abdal. One of the highest maqams in tasawwuf. So Abdul Qadir Jilani, all these miracles we see that he did. In fact, we are here in the name of tasawwuf. But what is tasawwuf? What does it mean to be a murid and have a sheikh and have a pir? The whole point of this concept was that the sheikh has traversed the sciences. The sheikh has reached a lofty status. And now he takes some students to show them, this is the way, come, this is the way. You want to be a wali, I will show you the way. Do this adhkar and do this a'mal and I will show you the way. This is what tasawwuf is about. So how could we then say that Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani, how can we take his name as a banner and yet we do not follow in his footsteps? You see, tasawwuf means to follow in the footsteps of those asfiya, of those azkiya, those purified souls like Abdul Qadir Jilani. So all of us here, inshallah, not here to be an armchair critic, but we should make the intention now that, you know what, if I want to live this legacy of Abdul Qadir Jilani, then let me make intention now that I want to become a talibul ilm. I want to study the deen. You cannot be a Qadiri if you're coming to dhikr majlis and you are saying subhanallah, but you don't know how to pronounce subhanallah. You cannot be a Qadiri if you come to the masjid and you're praying salah and you don't know which aspects of your salah are wajib, are fard. You see, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Abdul Qadir Jilani, as great as he is, was just a mere echo of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. See, Abdul Qadir Jilani was Sultan al-Awliya, wa Rasulullah was Sultan al-Anbiya. And our Sultan al-Anbiya, what does he say to us? He says, Talabul ilm faridatun ala kulli muslim wa muslimatin. That the seeking of knowledge is fard upon every single Muslim, be it male or female. So inshallah, I would like to finish upon that today. That let us all make the intention that, oh Allah, accept our search of knowledge, accept our efforts to be following the footsteps, and make us a true talibul ilm, a talibul ilm, a sahibul Quran. You see, another thing that just came to my mind, Abdul Qadir Jilani was a master of the qira'at. A master of the qira'at of the Quran, of tajweed. A master. He was a master of the Hanbali madhab, a master of the Shafi'i madhab. He was a master of hadith. For 40 years he taught hadith. Ask any alim. If you teach hadith for 40 years, they call you al-muhaddith. They call you the muhaddith, shaykh al-hadith. They call you hakim fil hadith, hafiz fil hadith. He was one of those. So if you want to be an echo of him, inshallah, then you should also traverse the sciences of Quran, the sciences of hadith. The bare minimum you should traverse, you should search, you should seek, inshallah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the tawfiq to follow in the legacy of Sayyidina Abdul Qadir Jilani and those purified souls like him. Wa akhiru da'wana walhamdulillahi rabbil alameen.
Jazakallah khair, Hafiz Fahim Muhammad, for this enlightening talk, beautiful indeed. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala raise him, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala increase in his knowledge, inshallah. Inshallah, we're going to, not going to make it very long. I'm going to do a short khutbah, SHAHJALAL, followed by salat salam and dua, inshallah. Before that, I would like to say a few words for our Bengali speakers in Bangla as well. I'll try to say in English as well, inshallah. Alhamdulillah, Allah Rabbul Alamin, shukriya amra aske kano Hazrat Sayyidina Abdul Qadir Jilani rahmatullahi alayhi জীবনী আলোচনা লাগি বলছি তার নাম হলো আব্দুল কাদের টাইটেল বা উপাধি হলো গিয়া মহিউদ্দিন শব্দ শাব্দিক অর্থ হলো গিয়া ইসলামের জিন্দাকারী Muhyiddin, reviver of the deen. There's an incident one Sayyidina Abdul Qadir Jilani had a vision, and he saw a very weak person lying on the ground, and he saw weak that he is not being able to sit down or to stand up. So he saw Sayyidina Abdul Qadir Jilani and called him for help. Sayyidina Abdul Qadir Jilani went to him and helped him to stand up. When he stand up, that person became young, strengthy. So Sayyid Abdul Qadir Jilani will ask him, who is that person and what is he? So he replied that I am the deen of your grandfather Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. I am Islam. What its meaning is that Islam became weak because of Sayyidina Abdul Qadir Jilani rahmatullah alayhi, because he revived the deen of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Islam became strong again. And this is why he has been given the title Muhyiddin, the reviver of the deen. Jilan is the place where he was born in Iran, and this is why he is called Jilani. Abdul Qadir Jilani rahmatullah alayhi নাম সম্পর্কে আমরা সংক্ষিপ্ত কইলাম মুহিউদ্দিন শব্দ লইয়া ইসলামের জিন্দাকারী তাই একদিন একটা ভিশন দেখলাম স্বপ্নের মাঝে স্বপ্ন লেখা কত বাস্তবেও দেখলাম একজন মানুষ খুব বৃদ্ধ অবস্থা পড়িতে আছে তাই হেল্প করলা তুলবার লাগি যখন উঠিল দেখা গেল মানুষটা ইয়াং হয়ে গেছে তাই জিখাইলা তুমি খেয়ে এবং কিলাম ইয়াং হইলা তাই বলে আমি হইলাম ইসলাম ধর্ম আল্লাহ তোমার মাধ্যমে আল্লাহ রাব্বুল আলামিন এই দ্বীনকে আবার পুনর্জীবিত করবা নয়া করে জিন্দা করবা সুবহানাল্লাহ আল্লাহকে তার টাইটেল দেওয়া হয়েছে মুহয়্যিদ্দিন ইসলামের জিন্দাকারী Sayyidina Abdul Qadir Muhyiddin Jilani rahmatullah alayhi had parents, very pious parents. Now every one of us wants to have pious children. However, we do not want to be pious first. You will not get pious children until you make yourself pious. I'd like to mention a very famous story, very shortly inshallah, from the parents of Sayyidina Abdul Qadir Jilani rahmatullah alayhi. Sayyidina Abdul Qadir Jilani rahmatullah, his father's name was Abdullah Abu Saleh Zangi. One day he was walking through a river and he was very hungry. At that time, you can imagine people did not have wealth like that way we do today. He was walking through a shore of a river and he was very hungry. Suddenly he saw an apple floating on water. Feeling hungry, seeing an apple, he took the apple from the river and ate it. After eating, he was thinking that what did I do? This apple does not belong to me, and I ate it from the river. So he's thinking, I need to find out its owner. I need to take and ask him for to forgive me for eating his apple. So Sayyidina Abdul Qadir Jilani rahmatullah alayhi started walking on the shore of the river until he found an orchard of apple which is hanging on the river. So Abdul Qadir Jilani found out the owner of that orchard, and he found out that the person's name was Abdullah Salmi. So he went to him and asked him that this is what happened. I ate an apple from the river and I found out this orchard on top of the river definitely belongs to you. So I came to you to seek forgiveness from you that I ate your apple. So Sayyidina Abdullah Salmi rahimahullah ta'ala, he was a very pious and man of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He realized that this person, this young person, is not someone very ordinary. He's a very special person. Otherwise, no one would come back to me seeking forgiveness for an apple from the river, which is floating on the river. Anyone could have it. So he said, I'll forgive you, for eating my apple if you serve in my orchard for 10 years. Now, it's a bit too much, isn't it? It's a bit too much. For an apple, you have to serve for 10 years. Now these people, like Abu Saleh Jangi Musa rahimahullah ta'ala, they do not care. They need to take the right off from that person. Otherwise, they will not be able to sleep. They will not be able to pray. They're thinking of, they have taken something from someone. So he said, I'm happy and agree to serve for you for 10 years. He did serve for 10 years. After completion, when he was going to take his off leave from him, he said, I've got another proposal to you. If you want me to forgive, for the thing you did. So what was the second thing? He said, I've got a daughter who is blind, who is deaf, who is handicapped, who cannot walk. If you marry her, and who is very ugly, if you marry her, then I will forgive you. Now again, he did not think of his life, he did not think of his future, he did not think anything. He just needed to take the right off from the person for eating an apple from him. He said, I am happy, I agree to your proposal. So marriage was done. On the night of marriage, when he went to meet his wife, he found a very beautiful woman who has eyes, who is not handicapped, who is not disabled, who can walk, who can talk, who is very beautiful, sat in the room. Now again, if it was us, then we would have thought, oh, maybe he made a mistake, let's go for it. He came out quickly, very quickly from the room, went to his father-in-law, Abdullah saw me, and told him that you sent me to the wrong person. He said, why? He said, because you told me that your daughter is blind, your daughter is deaf, your daughter is ugly, your daughter is disabled, but the woman you sent me to, she is very beautiful, she has eyes, she has ears, she is not disabled, she can walk, talk. Why? So I think you have sent me to the wrong person. Now Abdullah Swami said, no, I have sent you to the right person. This is my daughter. I called her blind because with her eyes she never saw anything haram. With her eyes she never saw anything haram. With her ear she did not listen anything haram. With her feet she never walked to anything haram. With her mouth she did not talk to anything haram, or talk to anyone talking to who I know is haram. Subhanallah, Subhanallah. Now, the explanation given by his father-in-law, Sayyiduna Abu Salih Jangi Musa rahimahullah ta'ala, happily took his wife and went back to his home. Now this is the parents of Abdul Qadir Jilani rahmatullah alayhi. Both of them, you can imagine how. Now I would like to mention another story from Muhyiddin ibn Arabi rahmatullahi alayhi. Muhyiddin ibn Arabi rahmatullahi was very famous, very good, high-level scholar in our religion, and he is called as well Muhyiddin, the reviver of the Deen. Muhyiddin ibn Arabi rahmatullahi, one of his incidents is his parents are very pious, and one day his father told him, "Oh my son, I pray most longer only for your sake." Why? Because if I pray longer, you'll be praying longer as well. If I pray shortly, you'll be praying shortly. If I do not pray more, you'll not be praying more. Subhanallah. This is what a duty for parents for their children. Now, if you want to make our children pious, we need to be pious first. Sometimes we see people coming to us telling that my son doesn't pray, my daughter doesn't pray. Would you please make dua? However, if you ask them, do you pray regularly? The answer will be negative. Answer will be negative. So my dear brothers, we are commemorating the life of Sayyid Abdul Qadir Jilani rahmatullahi today. I will not make it very long. And what I said, and I want to mention, Hafiz Fahim mentioned about knowledge, seeking knowledge. One of the advice of Sayyid Abdul Qadir Jilani rahmatullahi to his disciples, to his students was that seek knowledge first before you seek the tasawwuf. Seek knowledge of deen, seek the knowledge of fiqh before you seek the knowledge of tasawwuf. Why? Because you're seeking the knowledge of tasawwuf, you are in danger. You are in danger. You are going to face problems from shaitan. Now if you do not have knowledge of deen, you'll be very easy to be taken away by shaitan. one example from his life of Sayyid Abdul Qadir Jilani. He had seclusion, muraqabah for over 12 years in jungle, doing ibadah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He became Bolo Pir, he became the greatest awliya, Sultan al-Awliya, not just because by sleeping all day and doing whatever they did. No, they lived their life for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So he lived in jungle for over 12 years, some said over 15 years, and upon his completion, one day he saw a light coming up from the sky. A light coming up from the sky, and that there is a voice with that light. And that voice was saying, "O Abdul Qadir, because you have been worshipping me for so long, I have made everything halal for you. I have made everything halal for you. So from now on, you do not have to do anything. You enjoy your life because I'm happy with you. I am your God." Now, if I was there, I said, "Oh, maybe Allah is pleased with me and made everything halal for me." Sayyid Abdul Qadir Jilani, immediately he thought, this cannot be Allah. This cannot be Allah. The most beloved creation, the most beloved person to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Yet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not make everything halal for Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Why would Allah make everything halal for me? So he knew it was shaitan. He knew that voice was coming from shaitan. He immediately said, "La hawla wa la quwwata illa billahi al-ali al-azim, na'udhu billahi minash shaitan al-rajim." Automatically, immediately, that fire, that light disappeared, and that shaitan said, "Oh Abdul Qadir, I am the shaitan. I came, to misguide you today. However, because of your knowledge, you have survived today. Because of your knowledge, you have survived today." Now again, he's trying to misguide Sayyidina Abdul Qadir Jilani from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He said, "Oh shaitan, I have not been survived because of my knowledge. I have been survived because of my Lord subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who protected me, not my knowledge. It is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who protected me, subhanallah." Now we can understand two things from here. The very important lesson that when we do some worship, sometimes shaitan comes to us and tells us that, "Oh, you've done lots, mashallah, you don't need to do any more. You have done enough." Now whenever this thought comes into your mind, you should think that this is from shaitan. We have seen men of Allah like Fultul Isabtullah rahmatullah alayhi. We have seen people like him when they used to make dua, they used to cry to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We should think, there is no more biggest sinner than him, because of his crying, because they are praying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we sometimes think, "Oh, I've prayed 5 times a day, I'm doing recitation of Quran and many good things, alhamdulillah, I've done enough." No, it's not enough. Now Sayyidina Abdul Qadir Jilani rahmatullah his life, you can see from his life that first of all we need to seek knowledge. Because without knowledge, it will be very easy prey for shaitan to take you away from deen, to take you away to misguidance. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept our short reminder about this greatest awliya, Sayyidina Abdul Qadir Jilani rahmatullah alayhi. One of the I think the scholars mention in the dhikri awliya Allah tanzilu rahmah. Whenever a friend of Allah, awliya Allah is mentioned, the rahmah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is descended, subhanallah. So we believe, inshallah, by remembering, by commemorating Sayyidina Abdul Qadir Jilani rahmatullah alayhi, will be receiving bounty, rahmah from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The main lesson that we can take away from today's discussion, from the introduction to Sayyidina Abdul Qadir Jilani rahmatullah alayhi, is to seek knowledge for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to be truthful in our life no matter what, and to be in the worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala no matter how much we have done, because we cannot do enough at all. We need to be engaging ourselves in the worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept our gatherings. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
I would appreciate if you kindly give me a little bit of definition of, in Arab state, Abdul Qadir Jilani this, they know him under the name of Abdul Qadir Jilani.
Gilani, okay,
And we
mashallah.
know him Abdul Qadir Jilani.
Jilani, okay.
There are two differences here.
Okay, mashallah. So it's not something
I've seen
difficult.
in the book,
The city Abdul Qadir Jilani was born is Jilan. It's Jim. However, the local people they call it Gilan with Gaf G whatever is there. So Gilan. So it's same place. Pronunciation different. So, for example, in some countries we see even Arab countries they pronounce Jim with the pronounce of Gaf. Okay, so instead of Jumu'ah, there is a Gum'ah, like this, that they would mention. So it's the same place.
Why you cannot correct it? Because
It's
we can correct it all the Arabic names.
it's not his name, it's the name of the city,
Yeah.
and it's been pronounced differently. For example, we are from Sylhet. How many of us are Sylhet? Someone says Sylhet, some say Silot, some say Shilot, some say Srihotto. There are different names from one place. So it could be for a different pronunciation of each name. So main thing is that we know the person, we need to know the person, we need to follow his footsteps, and most importantly, what Hafiz Fahim mentioned about the greatest karama that given by himself of Sayyid Abdul Qadir Jilani rahmatullah alayhi. The greatest karama is not flying over on the air, not walking on the water, not being in the fire alive. The greatest karama is following the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. If you can follow the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam in your life, inwardly and outwardly, then this is the karama that any person can have. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala raise the ranks of Sayyidina Abdul Qadir Jilani rahmatullah alayhi, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive our sins because of his blessings. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us the true follower of the Sayyid Abdul Qadir Jilani rahmatullah alayhi. Inshallah we'll do short khutbah hajagan and dua inshallah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم صل على سيدنا ومولانا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وبارك وسلم. اللهم صل على سيدنا ومولانا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وبارك وسلم. اللهم صل على سيدنا ومولانا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وبارك وسلم. اللهم صل على سيدنا ومولانا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وبارك وسلم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ألم نشرح لك صدرك
ووضعنا عنك وزرك الذي أنقض ظهرك ورفعنا لك ذكرك فإن مع العسر يسرا إن مع العسر يسرا فإذا فرغت فانصب